Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Game FourCast, the weekly podcast where we all get together and chat about what we've been playing all week and any upcoming stories or upcoming stuff that we found interesting. So, I'm here with my three amigos, as always. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks. I'm here with Olive Meister, Will.
Hello everybody. How you all doing?
I'm here with Steve Quikwix.
Hey, I'm Steve, and I'm not a regular gamer. I'm a cool gamer.
And Sammeh.
I'm Sam, and I don't even know if I pass as a gamer anymore.
No time.
Yeah,
for
we need
games.
to talk about your license, Sam.
Give me back your gamer license. Have you all played lots of interesting stuff this week?
Yes, Josh, I have.
Oh, you go first, Will. Let's kick us off. Let's go straight into a topic.
Well, as I'm sure everybody will recall from last week, I played a game called Forgive Me, Father, which is a absolute boomer shooter, just with some 2D good-looking Cthulhu-y art, and I had a really good time with that. And the whole time I was playing it, people were throwing out like other games to check out of this genre. So I had Dusk is one that kept getting thrown out. Bullets Per Minute, which is the shooter / Guitar Hero game that everyone's been talking about.
Oh yeah, I've seen stuff of that.
Yeah, and I've those are both now on my list to check out. They look pretty good. But one that a couple people mentioned, and then somebody actually gifted me while I was playing through Forgive Me, Father.
That streamer privilege.
Because I don't pay for games anymore. I don't know if you've heard. Is a game called. Thank you very much.
Yeah, oh god, to be around you is such a it's so nice.
Yeah. I really should start charging for my appearances.
I think you should. Yeah.
So I got gifted a game called Ultrakill, which is a game in that vein. So this one's fully 3D instead of like pseudo 3D / 2D.
So Steve can play because it won't make him sick.
Yeah. Well, you watched some of it, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah, I watched it. It's very interesting.
So the whole time I was playing through Forgive Me, Father, it's like I kept saying like, oh, this is like how you remember playing Doom is like, right? Which is like it's like a compliment, right? Like whenever you play a retro game or a modern game that apes retro games, and you sort of think, I bet if I went back and played like an old game like Doom, like I wouldn't enjoy it as much. But games that can like capture the spirit of it but still make it modern and interesting, they're like that's the level you want to hit with those kind of things.
Oh, this looks weird. These screenshots.
Oh my god, you don't even know, man.
It's so I was
saturated. So all the time I was playing through that, I was Forgive Me, Father. I was like, yeah, this is really fun. I'm really enjoying this. And then I played through like I recommend Forgive Me, Father. It's a good game. But then I played Ultrakill, and I was like, oh my god, this game is so much fun. It's like just pure like gaming. I don't know, like distilled into a liquid and then shot straight into your eyeballs just constantly. And it's like
it looks really fast. It looks fast paced, even from these screenshots.
It's so fast. But it's fast. But it's like fast. It hits just the right. At least for me, it hits just the right level of like fast but manageable, right? Where I'm like bouncing off the walls and triple jumping and dash sliding and everything. But I'm always like in control of what I'm doing. And it just feels really fucking good to play. It reminds me of whenever I talk about Diablo 3 and how I went really hard on Diablo 3. Yeah, and I was like, that's that genre like perfected, right? When I played Diablo 3, I played it to death, and I was like, right, I've sort of completed the action RPG genre. I need to take a break from it for a really long time, because whenever I go and try and play another one, I just compare it to Diablo 3 and the amount of time I put into that.
Yeah.
Like for better or for worse. And it feels the same, where I was just I played it, I think I picked it up, I started playing, and like 4.5 hours went by just in the blink of an eye. It was so just I was exhausted by the end of it, but like in a good way. Like I'd just eaten a huge pizza.
Have you played Doom Eternal?
Yes, yeah.
How? Because that game I found was really fast. Is it like close to that?
I'd say it's faster than Doom Eternal, but one thing I wasn't huge on in Doom Eternal was there was a lot of like cooldown management in Doom Eternal.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Whereas, and which sort of sometimes it took me out of it when I was like, hitting buttons, but they weren't doing anything because they weren't off cooldown and ready and stuff. And I know that was like that's all me, but
I love Doom Eternal for that reason. I loved all that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway,
this has some of that where there's no ammo, so you don't have to worry about that, which is something that, forgive me, Father, kind of annoyed me. All it is like you can use your gun and then it'll have a special ability which will have a cooldown. So all you have to do is manage those cooldowns basically, and you kind of get a good feel for like how long they are.
So with no ammo, are you just picking guns based on countering the enemies you're fighting?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
There's like different guns have different functionality. There's and I should say there is like picking up, Ultrakill, not expecting much. It's got one of the coolest guns in any game I've ever played ever. Like at least top 5,
So what is it?
Right. So what it is you start off and you have this like revolver, right?
Yeah.
And you shoot it, and then the secondary fire is like this charge up shot that just explodes. And it's like, and I was playing and I was like, all right, it's okay. It's not blowing my mind. But then it comes with this alternate mode which is called like, I can't remember what it's called, but the alternate fire is your guy just flips a penny in the air in front of you. And then if you shoot the penny with just your normal revolver, it pings off and hits a nearby enemy in their weak spot. So immediately it becomes this cool, like,
that's pretty cool,
quick gameplay loop of you like double jumping, bouncing off a wall, flipping a coin in front of yourself, then shooting it in midair, which will ping off and hit something like behind you that's chasing you.
So the penny becomes a physical object that you have to aim at and shoot.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And it sounds really tricky, but it's not. It's super easy. And that's really cool. Then you realize you can flip up to 4 coins at once, and the bullet will ricochet all around them. As exactly. It's very on brand for me. Yeah. So that's that's cool. So like your guy will flip up 2 coins at once. You'll shoot it, and it'll like split the bullet, and then you'll hit like 2 or 3 things behind you instead, or like off to the side and stuff. And the whole time you're like zipping around at 1,000 miles an hour. But it means you don't have to like you don't have to aim as well as manage your movement. You're just like flipping coins left and right and just like blasting them. And then already I'm like super on board with this. This is like such a fun gameplay little loop that you just zip around flipping coins and popping heads and stuff with it. But then later on you get a railgun, which is like your classic. It charges up, it fires this huge destructive beam sort of thing, and it's on like a really long cooldown. But then I was playing it on stream and someone was like, can you flip a penny and railgun it? And I was like, no, you can't. So then
don't be mad.
Get out of here.
What are you talking about?
Somewhere high.
Don't be crazy.
I do the 4 coin flips in a row, and then I quick swap to the railgun and shoot it, and it does it like ricochets around the room and then blows a guy away into oblivion. And I'm like, yeah, this is the coolest game I've ever played. This is just it doesn't get better than this.
I was gonna say, watching it was like, there's the animation of like sorting through the menus is your character like punching, and it looked really like rough, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look so good. But then as soon as I saw that penny gun animation thing, I was like, oh, this actually looks fun. Like now I kind of want to play it myself,
Yeah.
That damn penny. Ever since I saw that damn penny.
Penny. It's and then a lot of the times I find games like that, they sort of rely on being like, oh, we're kind of wacky, and remember like how wacky Doom is, we're gonna be wacky too. Like Forgive Me Father is like kind of silly, and it does go places, but it's always very like Cthulhu but a comic book sort of style. And this is like, you start in a factory and it's like, okay, it's your classic sort of Doom looking factory, but then you go to this weird world that's like it's like purgatory where it's all like nice Windows XP background, but all behind, like, you're hidden in like a small cube, and on all of the walls is projected this lovely scenic thing. But what you're doing is like just murdering a bunch of dudes. Oh, also, your health is blood, and to get health back, you have to get covered in blood. You're a robot that's charged up by blood.
I like that.
Yeah,
I think again, Doom did something similar. I think.
Yeah.
Where it's
No.
it was either like chainsaw kills or like something like that.
Yeah.
Just gives you ammo and health.
Yeah.
It's similar to that, where you have to get health back, you have to kill something.
Oh, it's such a great mechanic in these types of games, because I remember a bunch of interviews and videos about when they were making not Doom Eternal, but I think the one before it, where they designed all these weapons and encounters and stuff, and when people start getting low on health or low on ammo and stuff, they start hiding, which is completely against what you want them to do. So it's how do you make people get life? And it's where you have to get in their face.
You have to get
to get life.
And that's like the this game is so good at is you'll pop into a room, you'll be like, all right, enemy room, let's go, and then stuff will start popping in, and you just start flying around the room, like gunning them down, and you're like, oh, I'm low on health, let me just run up to this guy, blast him with the shotgun, he'll explode, I get covered in blood, I'm back to full health, I can keep zipping around, and it's just the enemy design is insane, the level design is insane. There was a bit where it all started off like super enclosed, and then I got to one level where it like did the bait and switch where a door opened and suddenly I was on top of a skyscraper in like a sort of
that's neat.
Unreal Tournament, like facing worlds kind of level.
Yeah.
And it's just like empty space all around me, and it's such a good fucking game. Like, holy crap!
I might have to check this out.
Ready to talk about a whole bunch of games, but the minute I played this, I was like, no, this is what I want to talk about.
I love this binge you're going on of all these old, like, not arena shooters, but like classic FPS games.
I've always been like interested, but whenever I play one, I find they lose me quite quickly. Just because I go like, oh yes, this is like those old games, and then I realize I've played a lot of those old games, and I get bored and go and do something else. But this like new wave of people who just like they just seem to get it. Like, what made it fun, but without the limitations of the time.
The good thing about these sorts of games as well is, it was, at least for me, I remember playing like a whole bunch of like classic games like Serious Sam and some of the old Dooms and this, that, and the other. And a lot of people ask like, oh, how do you get good at FPS games and like fast reactions and stuff? And you can just play, your game a lot, whatever. But if you play a lot of these really fast-paced games, they can be really good for improving at the genre as well.
Yeah.
It's like,
definitely.
I always find like just especially when I played Doom and Doom Eternal, I always whack those games on like the hardest difficulty. And even though it's absolutely brutal, but even though it's absolutely brutal during some bits, when it all flows really well and you're zipping around, you're snapping shots, and like you survive by the skin of your teeth. It's like for me, it's like peak FPS like genre. I love that stuff. I need to play some of these games that you're recommending because I love this kind of stuff.
Well, if I had to like make a recommendation, I'd say don't start with Ultrakill, because that feels like the final boss of this genre of game so far. Maybe another one that people have recommended will one up this one. But this game is so much fun. So many fun little secrets as well. There was one of the first levels I went into, I went off the beaten path a bit. And went onto this like alternate, because it's kind of level based. But I went this like alternate route where suddenly I was in like a pitch black maze, and I was getting chased by something that could insta kill me that I couldn't see.
A Minotaur.
So suddenly it was this like sneaking around puzzle solving level where I was like, okay, I have to go this way and then into this vent. And all I could hear was this buzzing of this thing chasing me, and I was like, fuck, this is terrifying. It's just some like Destiny
suddenly
Destiny
a horror
raid
game.
mechanic, Yeah, like I was like, fuck, this is awesome. There are boss fights, they were great. I think that's everything. I don't think I've
I was gonna say, it sounds cool. I think I'll put it on my wish list. The highest award I can give it without buying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, a lot while you're playing Forgive Me Father, it's like people are interested, but as soon as you start playing Ultrakill, people are like, "Oh, we love this game," you know. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's a popular game if you've played the genre before.
Okay, any final things you want to add before we move on?
Soundtrack's comparatively weak. That's all. That's the only thing I could
Okay.
find that I didn't like as much about it. It's okay, but Forgive Me Father went really hard on its soundtrack, like surprisingly hard, and this was like not quite as good. So far, I'm about like 2/3 of the way through it.
You can normally tell if
Maybe
if an indie game has a banging soundtrack because there'll be a bundle on Steam that comes with the game.
It comes
and
with
the soundtrack.
Yeah.
What you been playing, Sam?
So I have gotten into this week. Started off multiplayer with friends, and I've started a little solo playthrough now of Ark Survival Evolved.
Oh, the first one. I mean, is the second one even out yet?
Second one isn't out yet.
Okay.
Is there
This is the Vin Diesel game, right?
What's the Vin? Yeah.
Vin Diesel's game. How are you finding it?
So I was playing with friends, and we had a server, but it's been such a huge gap since when I played this when it first came out, right? And now, and it's like people are building like hovercrafts, and they've got like full metal tech dinos, and I'm just there like, mate, the last time I played, I had trouble like getting a dinosaur that could fly. And now you're like flying across the map on a hovercraft that's beaming up a dinosaur so that we can shoot it with tranq darts. And then we built some like generator that lets us then teleport our character to a different map. Literally, we saved our character into this like tech replicator, something or other, loaded up a different server, and loaded our character into that server.
Right. Okay. Before we need to like record scratch. You're probably wondering how I got here. Like, for people that have no idea what this game is,
right? But the people listening to this are feeling how I feel because I'm like, what's going on?
So Ark is like an open world crafting survival game with dinosaurs.
Yeah. So it's got your like standard hit resources, build house, survive kind of thing, but instead of like your typical zombies or whatever, it's dinosaurs that are like roaming the planet, and you can. So if you get their like favorite food and stuff, you can feed it to them, or you have to like knock out carnivores with like tranquilizers,
right?
And then like feed them that way while they're knocked out, and that somehow tames them. Don't ask me the
video game
how
logic.
That works, but video game logic.
Yeah, video game. But it's fine. It's video game logic.
And basically, you build up your like repertoire of dinosaurs, and they all have different purposes. Like some of them just really good at killing things, others like really good at gathering berries, which you can then use to make better food and stuff. Right, stuff like that.
Do you kind of do you like house them in little huts that you make or whatever, whilst they're not being used, or do they just do their own thing with AI?
You can do both.
Right,
You can just let them roam free, but then they have the potential to like, because obviously it's a server that's loaded up.
Yeah.
So while you're away from base, your dinos are still there, and if one really aggressive carnivore comes by and goes, "Ooh, food," like you run the risk. But it has quite a good amount of decorations. So if you're into like the buildy side of it, you can actually build more than just like a 3x3x3, which is my standard go-to.
Oh yeah, everyone knows the standard Minecraft house, which is just like a 4x4 dirt house with a wooden roof.
just build the box, shove everything down. As long as you can walk somehow between it, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
But then it starts getting a little bit weird. Okay, so before we get to the weird bit, there's also super bosses that you can fight. There's these big, like, if anyone can see in this photo, there's like a red obelisk beacon in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Are in the background.
Mhm.
Basically, you can go to there and you can summon a super boss. And in order to do that, you have to get materials from like all the big dinosaurs, like your T-Rexes, your Brontosauruses, stuff like that. The big boys. You have to kill them, get their like trophy, and then spawn in big boss.
Yeah.
And that was always like the end game. And I've never done that. I've never fought the big boss. So that was like my goal.
Well, so has between you playing it now and you last played it, has this game been getting updated? Well, I thought it was just. I thought it was just. I thought it was just finished like ages ago.
Oh, it was finished. It came out of early access and actually released, but they have not stopped releasing content. They have released like 7 new maps. There's even like a story mode now.
Because in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, Ark, that game that's from like 5 years ago.
If not longer, yeah.
But when I first started playing Ark, when I first started playing Ark, it was like, oh, I literally built like a wood hut with dodos on the beach, and that was it. And now you see it's like, as Sam said, it's like crazy mech dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how did they get there?
Now we're at the stage where there's tons of like tech dinosaurs that are naturally in the world, and if you kill them, you get like tech scrap, and that then lets you start to build high-tech machinery. And it's weird. And then they've added like dragons in, like wyverns.
Okay.
And it's
fancy dragons.
The wyverns and the dragons, you can't tame those. You could knock them out, I think.
Ash found that out the hard way.
And then what happens is you have to go into their nests where there's like 20 of the buggers and steal their eggs. And you have to hatch their eggs from babies.
Leroy Jenkins it.
But the second you pick up an egg, it's literally that. Every dragon in a like 10-mile radius wants you. And they are without doubt like the strongest like monster dinosaur thing in full stop.
Well, it sounds like a GTA heist.
Mate, that's how it feels. Like, because you have certain different strategies, right? You have this like, okay, I'll get like a really bulky flying dinosaur that's got a lot of health, and the plan is get on that, and then hope you just kind of live it. Or you get like a really quick dinosaur that can fly but is less health, and just hope that you can like do the quick get out.
Like, so, am I right in thinking as well that this game is also PvP, right? People coexist on the same island.
It is server to server. So when you're looking for a server to play, there are PvP servers, there are PvE servers.
Oh, so
and what are you playing on?
At the moment, I've made my own solo single player, so it's not a server at the moment. But the one I was playing on before was PvP, I believe.
Yeah, because I might be wrong. Is it kind of like Rust if you play PvP, where you can go offline and then people just steal your shit?
When I played this game back when it was, I think it still wasn't actually released at the time.
Yeah.
We played on a server, and oh man, did we piss off some people. But like there was us who was new, the people we pissed off, and then like the actual big dogs of the server who had been there since like day one.
It's like the mafia, yeah.
Like built up. And then we just like showed them, was like, hi, yeah, we're new, we're just playing. And then I think we fucked with some people accidentally, but didn't realize it. So they came and fucked us up, and we were like, you're just bullying the new guys. And then the big group just fucked them completely. And we were like, yeah, get some.
Yeah, but if you want to live on this server, you got to pay Don Diesel some respect. You know what I'm saying?
That's what happens though. Like, I remember there used to be like a dude who like he'd just be on his own, but he'd do like tons of taming. So it's like, you leave that guy alone. He does all the taming stuff for everyone. And it's like
Big Brother, yeah.
Yeah, you would go on some servers and there might be a big clan, and they would like try something extorting people and shit like that. It was crazy.
But, it's like that's the most interesting part of these games to me, is when it's It's got all these different mechanics.
Social
but
interaction.
The social interaction. There's so many things I've seen. I've seen screenshots as well of like Rust, where there's people's bases and there's like flags or signs at the front that just say, I work 12-hour shifts at work. Please don't raid my stuff.
yeah. Also, the social aspect of it can be like a blessing and a curse because it only takes a few bad eggs to ruin a whole experience for someone.
But that becomes like part, right?
Yeah, it becomes part of the story.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's not. Ark obviously doesn't have as many players now as it used to.
Oh.
So like there are still servers with like 50 to 100 people playing it, but they're like few and far between. The biggest issue I have, and the reason I'm playing single player at the moment, is every server is either modded or has vastly increased rates. And I don't mind having increased rates because Ark is a very slow game if you play it completely vanilla.
Yeah.
But like, there's servers was like, 1,000 times gather rates, and you're like, why?
I guess those people that have just
you start and then you're immediately max level.
Yeah,
and it's like
those people that have played the game to death already, I assume, and are just there for the social aspect. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. But I'm playing through that, and basically my goal on single player is to try and fight these bosses because I didn't do it back in the day.
Yeah.
And now I would like to do it because when I play the multiplayer, we're doing all this tech stuff, and there's no point fighting the bosses because we've outdated them, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
they're
right.
no longer
you like
relevant.
superseded them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like I would like to go back, do my own thing. Do you know, I had this revelation. Do you know when we used to play like Terraria and stuff?
I was just thinking about Terraria.
And people used to come in and like, obviously we fought like one or two bosses and they've been at work or something. So they turn up and they're like, well, I've missed it now. I've missed the experience.
I'm familiar.
And they're
are you
like,
okay, Will?
I'm not getting as much fun out of this, so I'm just going to stop playing.
Yeah, it was like what
I've
with
now
Terraria,
had this. I've always been on the side though that's in there for everything.
How does it feel, Sam?
This is the first time.
Sucks, doesn't it?
It's happened to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel left behind.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be left behind. I want to be doing the stuff, but it doesn't feel as good because I'm skipping a ton of content.
Yeah.
So I've decided I'm going to do it on my own.
Yeah, I had we'll go back to Terraria because that's also my kind of like connection to it. But yeah, when everyone was playing together, a big group of like 10 to 12 people, and I would turn up either like just as people were starting a boss, or like want to tempt 5 of a boss. Everyone knows what they're doing, and I'm just kind of there like moral support. and then I played Terraria single player, or not single player, but with my partner. And it's just like, oh, that's how you summon it, and that's how you fight it. And
it's like, I see so many connections. It hurts, and people just go, "Oh yeah, don't worry, you've not missed much. Just like grab some gear from the chest, you'll be fine."
Yeah, it's like that's not the point.
And I'm there like, no, I don't think you understand. There's a critical step here I've missed. There's a whole fundamental level of like tech that I just don't get because I've skipped a step.
Yeah. It used to feel like like Starship Troopers. You'd turn up, they'd hand you your like super armor and laser gun, and they'd be like, yeah, just go out there and shoot whatever. You'll figure it out. And that's like that's what our Terrarias feel like sometimes.
It's easy to simplify, but I think a lot of the time there's lots of steps that lead up to that point that you kind of miss. Because I remember, again, going back to Terraria, there was a boss in the like lava bit of Terraria. It'd be a big wall of flesh, I think it was called. Mm-hmm. And to summon it, you had to get like an item and throw into the lava. I remember asking like, oh, how do you like get that item and stuff? And it's like, oh, you just go here and you find it and throw it in. It's no big deal. But then those are the steps to do it. But when you actually do it yourself, there's the build up of you have to go underground yourself, you explore the lava yourself, you'll survive, you find it. It's just like, it's the difference between like, I guess like if you were going on holiday, right? It's a difference between being told like, oh, you're going on holiday, pack your bags, to being the alternate is like, you plan the holiday, where do you want to go, working everything out, and then you go on holiday. Bit of a weird analogy, but you get what I mean.
Where are you going, Josh?
Yeah, we don't want to go on holiday. But yeah,
I think it's part of it is just like it's really hard to design a game like that where you can have like one person doing the objectives, or you can have like 30 people doing the objectives.
Yeah.
Like Terraria is a good example where it's like, we have to get to hell, and it's like, oh, we built the elevator like 4 hours. Like, that was like hour 2 because there was so many of us back then. Yeah.
So that's me. I'm plodding along. I literally turned off so that we could start doing this, and I had just died in a swamp, and my 2 dinos had just died, so I had to start again.
Oh no! Did they have names?
Mossy.
Oh no!
Oh, that's so mossy.
Mossy. I didn't care until you gave it a name.
I'm terrible. Like, if I'm gonna tame a lot of one dinosaur but get a lot of them, I don't really care too much. I just simplify the dino name and maybe change a letter. But if I'm only ever gonna get one, you are my raptor or you are my saber-tooth, I always name them, and it hurts.
Laura did quite a few months back a Nuzlocke run of. I think it was. She didn't get very far. Don't get excited.
Oh, okay.
It was. What was the remake? Pokemon. Diamond and Pearl, wasn't it?
Diamond and
Pearl. Yeah. And she had whatever the Pidgey is. I think it's Star Raptor.
Starly.
Yeah. And she named it Brad. And she spent 20 hours with Brad.
I don't where this is going.
Grinding against just Pokemon in bushes to get XP. Brad is fine, but the amount of story and lore we got out of Brad before the first gym was more than I got out of the entire game. just playing normally. So there is something about naming your creatures and things like that.
Yeah,
there's a reason they do it. You do get that attachment, and that's the other good bit. Is it? I mean, it hurts, but because it hurts, it means it has value as well.
Yeah.
You get your starter tame or your starter Pokemon or whatever is in the situation, and then later on, maybe you don't you're never going to use them again, but you're I'm not fucking throwing them away. He's been with me since day one. He will live to see a good life.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about Nuzlocke is when you're going to do gyms and stuff, and it's just if I don't do this correctly, Brad will die. He won't faint. We won't black out and go to Pokemon. Brad is going to die. Okay, that's why. This is her talking. That's why I have to grind in this bush for 20 hours to make sure that Brad will be okay. That's cool though. We'll move on from Ark. Unless you got anything else to add?
Nah. That's been me.
What you been playing, Steve?
Well, this week I have been playing Overwatch 2. So basically, I played Overwatch 1.
Nice.
Okay, moving on.
I was gonna say I got into the beta before all the drops. So I was like, oh well, yeah, I'll play this and I'll stream it and stuff, and so everyone can see if they've changed it. Because I was like, after all the controversy and stuff, they're not going to put out Overwatch 1, are they? And it's Overwatch 1.
Yeah, I've also played a little bit of this, yeah.
Yeah, what's it called? I looked through some of the patch notes. Well, some of the changes, because I don't think there's any documented patch notes, but I'm not sure. But I'm looking at them, and it's literally just patch notes. It's Anna, Sleep Dart, cooldown reduced from 12 seconds to 15. And it's what? There are a couple characters who got some bigger changes. Orisa got changed pretty much. Doomfist is now a tank and got a bunch of changes. A lot of the tanks got some more changes than others because the big thing with Overwatch 2 so far is they've removed one tank slot, so you can play with one tank, 2 DPS, 2 healers.
Yeah, it's 5v5 now, as opposed to so if you were in a 6-man esport team, one of you's got to go.
I remember there was a huge controversy about that.
Yeah.
They were fuming. They were like, brand new game's coming out and it's got a different amount of players in a team, so now everyone's going to have to drop someone on there. Like, that's what happens, man.
It's specifically a tank as well, because most esports teams would have had at least 2 tanks.
Yeah.
So if you played DPS, you're fine. If you played healer, you're probably fine. If you were a tank, you're flipping a coin.
I just think classically, like, the tank role in any MMO is like the most thankless job as well.
Yeah.
And you just Blizzard announces Overwatch 2, and also you get fired.
Yeah.
Literally. There's Overwatch 2, and for all you tanks up there, and just gives them the double middle finger.
Yeah. There's the whole quote unquote thankless job, but then also you're fired.
What's it called? I was actually expecting a few more tank changes, because in Overwatch 1, they previously were like, oh, well, we're going to try having a 1 tank, 3 DPS, 2 healer thing. And when they did that, they made a lot of the more off tanks who don't really have like shields. They gave them more defensive abilities. Like Roadhog would heal other people around him when he did his mask and stuff. And looking through some of the changes, they haven't really done much. It was also a bit harder to test on playing the beta, because everyone was just playing Orisa. Because like Doomfist, you're like, oh, okay, he's a tank. You try him once and you realize, oh, it's not that fun to play. But Orisa was like very fun to play.
Yeah.
So that's what you saw a lot of.
She had a full kit change, more or less, right? She like throws a spear and stuff now, and does all some weird stuff.
She lost her shield. She can like charge forward and destroy bullets. But yeah, I actually loved playing Reinhardt. They've changed him enough slightly where I'm like, oh, it just feels like playing a bomb lance and hunt. So I'm like, that's my jam. Just charging in and swinging randomly. But yeah, like some other notable changes are Cassidy, who is now who was McCree. Now instead of a flashbang, he's got a sticky grenade.
Oh, the match! I played a couple of matches with him. Yeah, and I had I didn't read any of the new abilities or whatever, and I kept throwing that grenade. And I'm so used to what's the normal McCree combo where you throw a flashbang and then you right click and you shoot like all your bullets really quickly and it just like kills a stunned person basically. Yeah. I kept trying it and it's just like, am I stupid? Why is this not working?
Yeah. Well, they didn't advertise it really. They advertised like the Orisa and Doomfist changes before, but no one else got really anywhere.
So, McCree's grenade is now just a grenade. It just does damage.
Yeah. And May lost her freeze, which I'm very salty about.
Yeah,
like
boo.
May was my favorite character because she's like great in the lore, and also she can annoy people to death, which is I love annoying people.
Well, there's always something about when you freeze someone, and all they can do is be frozen and stare at you as you line up the icicle headshot.
And then you do your little wave emote and then shoot them in the face.
Bang.
And then they'd like be salty in the chat. Oh, I lived off that. Bastion got changed. He's no longer a turret. Like he basically has like a cooldown on like a tank mode, which lets him do the fire that he used to have.
The tank was his ult, wasn't it? It was his old ultimate, and now it's just his ability.
Now they're giving him like artillery fire as his ultimate, and the healers basically got no changes.
Yeah.
Why change perfection?
Yeah. But it just felt weird. Like they had a couple new maps, but a lot of the old maps were in the rotation. The UI was slightly different, and the graphics were maybe a bit better. But it was just Overwatch 1, and I was like, you needed to give us more, give us something, because people were already confused with the system of Overwatch 1 and 2 that they announced, where they said basically, if you play just the PvP part and that's all you care about, you can play Overwatch 1 and you will be able to play with Overwatch 2 PvP. It's just going to be like a patch for you guys.
Well, when Overwatch 2 comes out, Overwatch 1 is just going. You just can't play it anymore. You will just play Overwatch 2.
Oh, I didn't realize that, because I thought that Overwatch 2 comes out and they were like, that's going to have the PvE element and the updated graphics and stuff. No. I didn't realize that they were removing Overwatch 1 and just
like fully Overwatch 1 just gets patched to be Overwatch 2. You can't play Overwatch 1 PvP anymore. Yeah.
And then I assume you get I assume you'll get like a main menu option for, say you haven't bought Overwatch 2, you boot the game and it'll have the single player or the PvE bit, and it'll be like, oh,
DLC,
yeah.
That makes it, because I always thought like, what if you're playing on Overwatch 1 with the old graphics? How's it going to do with Overwatch 2, and it
Yeah.
was okay. But that makes a bit more sense.
But that's the problem, right? Like, I don't have a problem with them being like, it's Overwatch 2, it's just Overwatch 1 but overhauled. But like, the messaging has been so confusing that even after playing it, you thought that Overwatch 1 would still
It seems
around.
bizarre to me that the first, like, we talked about this, I think, last week about putting your best foot forward, right? We talked about this specifically with Blizzard.
With Blizzard.
Because it was World of Warcraft. And
yeah.
put your best foot forward. And if Overwatch 2's biggest new feature is some kind of big elaborate PvE system, put that out for testing. I played a couple of matches of Overwatch 2 because I didn't get invited, but I quote unquote watched some streams. And the first match I loaded into was Route 66, which is an older map. And I was
Route 69.
Yeah, up Steve. And I was McCree, and I was shut up, Steve. And I was like a minute in, and I was like, this is exactly the same.
They just tricked you into downloading and playing Overwatch 1 again.
I know the memes where it's like, oh, Overwatch 2 is the same as Overwatch 1, but it was exactly the same. I think like the map might have changed slightly aesthetically, but it had been long enough that like I didn't really notice because it was just the same map. I think it was like darker. I think it was nighttime.
It's been so long to play that I was like, are these using the new Overwatch 2 graphics, or are we still on the Overwatch 1 graphics? I can't tell.
I did. Yeah, if there's any graphical change, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
This is so weird. This whole thing. It's like Blizzard, please.
Everyone playing Overwatch 2 as well is on Twitch. They set the category to Overwatch 1.
So did I.
Yeah.
Oh, do they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, it's because for Overwatch 1, the category for Twitch, they've changed the icon to the new Overwatch 2 hero, who was only in the Overwatch 2 beta. So it's kind of advertising that way. But yeah, I think like overall, all I've kept thinking of is why have they named it Overwatch 2? They should have done, this is just Overwatch. Overwatch is getting its 2.0 upgrade, and the DLC is called like Overwatch Origins or something, and have that as separate, like make sure that it's DLC of a whole story mode. It's basically like a whole game, but it's just going to be DLC for Overwatch. It's weird.
All I can imagine is over the last couple of years, you've had, we all know the stories at this point of like Blizzard imploding, right?
Yeah.
But over the last couple of years, you've got World of Warcraft Shadowlands having like not its normal lifespan of an expansion. It's not getting a lot of content. Overwatch 2 is coming out, and if it's got a lot of PvE stuff, we haven't seen it. There's not a lot going on, and it's just maybe this whole implosion from the inside was like, for the longest time, there's literally not a lot of work getting done, or not as much as would be usually.
Well, I think like we're still getting COVID as well. Like we're still seeing the effects of COVID.
True. Yeah, that's true.
A lot of this year is like not a lot of releases, right? And I think that's partially due to just there hasn't been a lot of work going on while people get used to working from home.
Yeah, it's also like the director for Overwatch, Jeff, who was memed on quite a lot, like kind of left, and it's like, oh, all the Blizzard's like big faces of their games are leaving, and it's like, well, do you care about them much anymore? It's like Hearthstone's Ben, I can't remember his name, but he left, and it's like, oh, I don't really care anymore about the remaining devs because it was like he was like the face, and he was like so lovable and meme-worthy, and all that.
You gotta just think these people knew what was up, right? And he just got out while it was good. Jeff from the Overwatch team,
Jeff Kaplan,
made
that's it.
Helped make Overwatch. I think it was he director, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Made Overwatch one of the biggest properties at its time of coming out. Did a few updates and then fucked off before it started getting really bad. I mean, and
I think it's weird that this is switching gears a bit, but Blizzard have done this before specifically with StarCraft, where they'll put out.
No one cares about StarCraft.
Shut the fuck. No, not anymore, you're in the wrong group to be saying that, Steve.
Watch yourself.
You watch your back, motherfucker.
But and they, like StarCraft Episode 2 comes out or whatever, and it's like brand new multiplayer. But it's just I don't know. It just they handled that a lot more elegantly than back then than this. Like this just feels like why put this out? Why wasn't this just balance patches over the last
Blizzard
Is that not enough?
Blizzard sucked with StarCraft as well. Like,
well,
yeah, but they handled it better.
Like yeah, I suppose. But at the same time, when people were crying out for more effort from Blizzard for StarCraft esports, they didn't really. They didn't do anything. They didn't do much.
Oh yeah, but I just mean like specifically, you'd go from I can't remember what were the something of Wings of Liberty,
Heart of the Swarm,
and then
Legacy of the Void.
Legacy of the Void. Thank you. It was like those three all came with brand new versions of the multiplayer, essentially, didn't they? They had to drop a bunch of new units. They changed the balance, but and that was like there was nobody in there going like, oh, it's just StarCraft 2 again, like.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Like,
yeah.
what changed? Like, is it just
they were advertised as expansions, right?
Yeah. But
that's even worse. This is advertised as a new game. If this was Overwatch subtitle, then maybe
that's what I mean. Like Steve earlier on said, if this was like Overwatch Origins,
Revengeance,
like maybe it goes down better.
Not enough games with the Revengeance.
Yeah, we need more Revengeance.
I think. Like the only thing now that could hard carry Overwatch 2 for me is if it had an absolutely baller PvE mode, which I hope it does.
That's the intention.
I feel like it has the engine to do it.
I don't think it will.
This is like
no, neither do I.
This is old news, but I believe all they've really shown up is it's going to have a big elaborate PvE mode with like a world map that you like, it's like different maps and you pick, and there were going to be skill trees for each character that you could.
Not gonna lie, it looked like Rainbow Six Extraction, kind of like, oh yeah, you mission, and then you can kind of talent tree a little bit, and it's like,
I tapped out as soon as you said Extraction.
And one final thing actually that kind of annoyed me was it was the Overwatch 2 beta, but there was no separate like icon for it on Battle.net. It was downloaded via Overwatch 1.
Yeah, like the PTR.
Yeah, and then also like they have the icons for the characters that they've revealed their makeovers for Overwatch 2. They have like their icons for them, but the character models using those new like updated models, or their new outfits and their new hairstyles and whatnot, aren't in the beta for this. So it's just you basically just playing Overwatch 1. It unlocks all your skins that you've already got unlocked. Like, come on, like even at least fake it a little bit. Like,
this doesn't have an end date, right? This current.
No.
So okay, is this not just a soft launch? Is this a soft launch?
Yeah.
Basically.
I don't know.
Because I looked up.
Why was the multiplayer updates? Why were they ever tied to this 2 single player?
Yeah.
Sequel. Yeah.
It feels like this is a soft launch.
No. Apparently, this is ending May 17th.
Okay, well then I'm wrong. Take it back.
That's still like 2.5 weeks away.
Isn't that wild when you think about it though? That they've patched Overwatch 2, they've patched Overwatch with in air quotes Overwatch 2, and then in 2 weeks they're going to unpatch it, so you have to go back and play the previous version of Overwatch again.
I kind of want to go back and play May a little bit just before she gets nerfed. I'm like, I want to annoy people, freeze them, and then them call me F word in chat or something.
At this point, it's mad they've even just patched Overwatch. It's like, oh Jesus Christ! I saw a tweet and it was like it had been something stupid like 300 days since the patch, and then like same like 400 days since a new character. There's always Twitter accounts where it's like this many days since blah blah.
It's so funny how Overwatch went from like at launch was like the hypest game ever, and then it was like a year of no update, a year of no like new characters or anything, and then it just slowly went downhill as they put more effort into the esports. And it was they only ever seemed to update the game for seasonal events. There was one time they added stuff to the base loot boxes for old characters.
Yeah,
like when they got new skins, and it was like, oh, come on!
It's
Overwatch.
Such an unfun game to watch as well.
Yeah, you had such good promise of like good lore. Like there was meant to be like a book out, and I like pre-ordered it, and then they were like, "Oh no, we're not doing that anymore."
They had that for the longest time when they kept working on like viewership, like angles and controls and stuff, because you'd watch esports Overwatch. There'd be 2 teams of 6 dancing around each other, and then there'd be a big fireworks show, and then there'd be 2 people left alive on the other team, and you'd be like, what has happened?
And the commentators would just be like, all right, it looks like McCree is fishing for a headshot.
Even like the cinematics and the animated
Cloud9.
Yeah, it's Ant-Man in Avengers Endgame, where he's like, what happened here?
But even like the cinematics and the like animated comics, I'm like, oh, the lore is still like, it's still something there. There's still some like charm and magic there. Just please, you utilize it a bit better. Come on. Hopefully, there's PvE mode.
One of the coolest things was in the trailer, because again, Blizzard back then, which apparently they've completely lost at the moment, always put out banging trailers.
You'll enjoy your climbing Rockman, and you'll like it, Sam.
When the Overwatch 2 trailer, where it had like all of the Overwatch heroes, but clearly like just a little bit more character. They had all aged. They had just had a little bit more to them.
Overwatch
Shippuden. Simple things like Genji just had a hoodie on, right? Small, but it just gave them a little bit of something, you know.
Genji with
and
drip.
It was like, now I think they're getting me again, and now I'm like, they've hit me with the banging 9 out of 10 trailer, 3 out of 10 gameplay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna. So you go.
I was just gonna say, like, isn't it insane though that we're talking about how this Overwatch 2 single player thing is coming out, and how we're all like, that's gonna suck. But isn't that like sad when you think about how? Like back in the day, Blizzard would announce anything, and I'm like, I don't know about that, but it's Blizzard, so it's gonna be awesome.
A lot of this stuff is like, there's always memes, and I find a lot of it kind of like some of it funny, but I'm never like happy when this shit fails. I want. There's nothing I want more than for Overwatch 2 to be absolutely banging, because I played so much Overwatch 1.
Yeah.
Or you could do, it's almost like I make jokes to hide the pain.
It's that thing, you like criticize it because you care, right?
Yes,
Not because you want to shit on it.
Yeah. I'm an angry father who just expects better. I'm gonna. So before we move on from this, because it ties into a news story very quickly. There's not much to talk about it, but one of the news stories was Activision Blizzard loses 60 million monthly active users in the past year.
Oh my god, I'm shocked.
Yeah, so again, not a lot to really say about this, but as opposed to coming back to it later and having this whole conversation again.
Yeah.
It's very apparent that, not just us saying it, right? Across all their games and platforms, they're bleeding players.
Yeah.
So I'll get that one out of the way now. But
which is why they needed, like, other than like I think Burning Crusade, which had like a little bit of like a bit of hype. This is like Blizzard's like, oh, look, this is what we're still a good game company. It's like, is it though with this beta? Like, come on, you could have done better.
So Blizzard went quiet for ages. I feel like they didn't do anything for ages, and it always kind of felt like, okay, they haven't done anything for a while. You got COVID. They're also exploding from the inside from all these allegations and that. Maybe they're just waiting for one big, resurgence to get goodwill back. But
yeah,
I don't know. We've seen this Overwatch stuff and World of Warcraft stuff, and it's kind of like a bit meh. I mean, this podcast goes live on Tuesday, which will be Tuesday the 3rd, which I think the very same day they're announcing a new Warcraft mobile game.
Yeah.
Is that one that? Okay.
Yeah, so this podcast will go live Tuesday morning, and then Tuesday evening for us, there'll be a reveal of a Warcraft mobile game. I don't know if I have. I'm interested. Don't know if I have faith in it being.
What's it going to be? Quickly predict a Blizzard mobile game, Josh.
I've seen
Clash of Clans.
Clash of Clans.
I think it'll be some kind of really light RTS game.
Yeah.
When people say Warcraft, I think
like Warcraft, like Rush or something.
Yeah, I don't think of, when I think of Warcraft in mobile, I don't think of World of Warcraft. I think of like some weird RTS hybrid, something light, like Sam said, like Clash of Clans or something weird like that.
I mean, they could probably do like, those idle AFK hero or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like games. They could easily whack one of them out.
So I have slight spoilers where I read that apparently they had 2 mobile games in the works.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
And one of them was cancelled, and the one that was cancelled was their sort of take on Pokemon Go, but with Warcraft license.
Can I just ask? You say you have slight spoilers. Like, do you mean you've got a man on the inside?
My dad works at Warcraft.
Or do you mean you've just read a news article?
No, it was. I don't think it wasn't a news article. It was, what's his name, Jason Schreier on Twitter, where it's like he posts stuff but doesn't always hit.
He's got insider sources.
He's got insider sources. Yeah,
okay.
Doesn't it kind of lend the podcast some legitimacy though if it sounds like Josh has a source inside Blizzard?
Yeah. My dad works for video games.
He hits me with I've got slight spoilers about the new WoW coming WoW.
Sam, he can't possibly disclose the name of his informant.
Okay. Imagine now people are going to be mad that you spoiled it. They're like, oh my god, I've spoiled the Blizzard mobile game. How could you?
Well, my dad works for Activision Warcraft, and he says that it's going to be voice acted and every character will be Chris Pratt. So you heard it here first. That's
oh shit.
But yeah, so we'll get that story out of the way. Unless you've got anything else to add about Overwatch 2?
Not really. I mean, it's Overwatch 1.
Did you enjoy playing it, Steve?
Actually, I will say that was one thing. I had been so long since I played Overwatch 1 that I was like, I'm kind of still having fun because it's Overwatch 1, and I kind of enjoyed playing Overwatch 1, and I'm kind of tempted to go back again, but it's it didn't get me hyped for Overwatch 2.
So moving on from that, again, one more news story really quickly because it ties in. You've also got Diablo Immortal launching June 2nd. Is
this another mobile game?
It was mobile, but it's now on PC. So...
Yeah, they announced that.
Don't you have phones?
You guys have phones? Apparently no one does. Yeah. Well, so I think I read somewhere that their answer for it being on PC was to try and deter people away from just phone emulators on PC.
Yeah,
because people do
makes
that
sense.
Anyway. So
people are going to do that anyway. Yeah.
So that's coming out on June 2nd. Are you not going to play that? I think I'm going to check that out.
I'm going to play that.
I will check it out, but we'll watch the trailer on stream, and the whole time I was watching it, I was just like, isn't this just worse Diablo 3 at that point?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yes. I got that as well. Yeah.
It's like they look at the great graphics and doesn't Diablo 3 though look better?
Well, this goes back to what I said about how not that it's not right saying not a lot of work's done, but how they're not making great strides right now because Diablo Immortal is one of their big new games. And I'm not sure if it's recycled assets, but it looks a hell of a lot like Diablo 3.
It 100% is using a lot of Diablo 3 to make this game. Yeah. I was watching it and I was like, this is just Diablo 3 light. But but it's weird now because it's on PC, so it's just why didn't you just
Diablo 3 Part 2?
Yeah, why don't you just put it blows my mind. I was just, why don't you put Diablo 3 on mobile? But then I guess this is now it's a relaunch and they can maybe monetize this better.
There's a legit not fear, but I can actually see a scenario where Diablo Immortal comes out for mobile and it is just Diablo 3. It's you know what I mean? It's the same levels. The same bosses,
same enemies, same classes. Yeah.
I did see something online. I can't verify it, but I trust the person who said it. Apparently, the amount of monetization in this game is quite insane. Where they are the amount of things that you can do for real money is a lot. So that's a big worry. And also, I just have to say, if you're interested in playing this for PC, don't forget you can go to the website and pre-register to get those sweet mobile rewards like you do on mobile.
Yeah, well, they need high monetization because Bobby Kotick needs his golden parachute to exit the company.
We've got Josh with spoilers on the WoW mobile.
I was just
Steve with spoilers for the Diablo mobile.
Steve with his Immortal insider.
I think they have to announce it and stuff, But it's just I think people are going to forget that this is a mobile game. So when they're playing it on PC, I feel like it's going to be monetized to crap. Whereas Diablo, you just bought it and then you were done, you could play. Other than that auction house business. This one it's going to be like, oh yeah, you can pay for this, you can pay for this, you can pay for this.
Yeah, but we live in a post Lost Ark world now where monetization doesn't. No one cares anymore.
True.
So
True.
Yeah, between Lost Ark and NFTs, anything is possible.
yeah. I don't know. I'm excited for this. It looks cool.
Yeah.
It just like it makes Diablo little Diablo experiences, like 10-minute dungeons or whatever, makes perfect sense on a phone, right? It's the bit where they're like, now we're bringing it back around to put it on PC again. That I'm like, well, I mean, it makes perfect sense, but that's so weird. Why wouldn't you lead with that?
I'm telling you, if this game comes out and it's just Diablo 3 again with a different name, I called it right here.
And one thing that is good actually is because apparently Diablo 3 on console felt very good.
I hope so, yeah.
This one can use controller on PC, so that might be like a fun thing to do because you're not going to be touching your screen for the mobile controls.
God, we're going too deep now. We're playing a mobile game on PC with a console controller. Make sure you put on your VR goggles for the authentic experience. Right, I'm going to move on from all this. I'm going to talk about what I've been playing this week. It's hard to talk about what I've been playing without spoiling a lot.
Are you under NDA?
I'm not under NDA. No, my dad doesn't work for this company as well. I've been playing I played and finished.
Oh yeah,
Stanley Parable, Ultra Deluxe, which is has anyone here played the Stanley Parable?
Nope.
Yeah,
I played the original Half-Life 2 mod.
Oh, the OG.
Game. Yeah, get out of here, whippersnapper.
So I first played this game, so the original Stanley Parable, I think it was like 10 years ago. I think it was like 2012, 2013 when it came out. And I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. So for anyone that doesn't know what it is, it's a walking simulator, basically. If you played anything like, what other walking simulators? Like Dear Esther, I think is one.
That's the famous one, yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few others.
All I can think of is just meme responses, just like Death Stranding.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Lost World? No, fuck. New World? Oh,
shut up, Will.
Go on.
You got nothing to contribute. You be quiet.
Damn it.
It's so you play as a guy named Stanley, and it's first person, and you're in an office. And there's a narrator that talks over you that basically describes everything you're doing. So it says, Stanley was a simple man that worked in an office. Every day, commands would appear on his PC telling him to press buttons, and he pressed the button. And then one day, he was sitting at his PC, and no commands came in for 2 hours, and he was confused. So he got up, he left his office, and all his office workers were gone. And that's the setup for the entire game. And the whole game basically relies on its writing and humor. I've struggled to say it's kind of barely a game because there's not much actual gameplay.
It's definitely a game.
It's so that's the thing it's not got traditional gameplay, but what it does wouldn't work in any other medium.
Yeah.
So to describe, I will preface when I go into like massive spoilers. But to like tell you what the game does, you go down a corridor, and you come across 2 doors, and the narrator would say, Stanley was heading to his boss's office, so he took the door on the left. But then, obviously, you can choose whatever door you want to go through. So you can follow the narrator, or you can go through the right door. And if you go through the right door, the narrator will keep talking, almost as if that was almost supposed to happen. So he'll go like, Stanley felt like going to the to the staff room before going to the boss's room, so he took the door on the right. And then you carry on, and it says, and then Stanley then took the next left to carry on to the boss's office. But again, you can just carry on. And the whole game is about, there's all different branching paths you can go through. And the game kind of gets very meta. The narrator describes like different things happening, and so why are you doing this, Stanley? Why you enjoy breaking my linear story like this, that, and the other, and things like that. So, and again, all of this that I'm describing was in the base game, which came out, a decade ago. But Ultra Deluxe version came out this week, and it adds, I think it's like the entirety of the game's content again. I can go into some of it and tell you some of the fun stuff.
Because I've played the original mod. I played a bit of the original game. I think Aaron has it.
Yeah.
What makes this a super deluxe version?
Okay,
of this game.
Are all three of you okay with me talking about this? Because it kind of you can't.
I'm never going to play this.
Okay,
so go for it.
It does spoil some of it, but essentially what happens is you play the game, and down one of the first corridors, there's a new door, and it says new content this way. So you walk you walk through it, and the guy's like, the narrator says, he starts talking about all the new content and stuff, and he's like, he talks as if he doesn't know what's coming up. So he's also really excited about all the new content. And you get to a room that's basically just like an empty room. It's all scummy and gross. And there's a taped out area on the floor that says jump area. And there's like a whiteboard that says cool new feature, jumping. And you stand in it, and he's like, okay, yeah, you can jump. That's kind of cool. And you're only allowed to jump like 10 times. And he's like, okay, let's move on. and then you get in an elevator and you ride it, and it takes too long. And he's like, oh, this is taking a while. Are they padding it out? What's going on? And you eventually get to the next room, and it says, thank you for playing new content. And the narrator gets really pissed off and says, well, this was terrible. If I'm going to make new content, here's what I do it. Here's what I do. And you reset the loop, and you end up in almost like a conference area. Like an E3 or something, and there's all these different rooms that explain new features that he would add to the game if he was making a sequel. And there's like signs everywhere that say Stanley Parable 2, and it's like, oh, here's how I would do it. And there's like a bucket you can hold, and it's like almost like a companion cube kind of thing from Portal. And he talks about there's like, it's again, a lot of it it's hard to sell because a lot of it's about like the writing. It's just really funny.
Yeah.
But then what happens essentially is he says, yeah, here's how I do it. And he says, actually, you know what, I'm going to do it. And the game resets, and the main menu straight up says Stanley Parable 2. So I think this game is basically a sequel.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a secret sequel.
That's pretty cool.
And then he takes all these new features that he tells you about in that conference area and sprinkles them throughout the original game.
Yeah.
So there's he tells you about there's now collectibles in the game, but don't collect them because they're absolutely worthless and nothing will happen. And then you collect them, and he's like, yeah, good job. Don't you feel good about the number going up? They don't do anything, by the way. And it's little bits like that. So I won't spoil all of it because there's lots of good stuff here. But one thing I will say is, I think when I first played this like a decade ago, it was a lot more effective than it is now, because a lot of the meta stuff isn't new anymore, if that makes sense. Like lots of games have done meta stories since then. When I first played Stanley Parable, it was like, what the hell? This narrator's talking to me. This is bizarre. This is so weird. But since then I've played like Undertale. I've played Doki Doki.
We just got done talking about Inscription, didn't we?
Yeah, we played Inscription. I played Doki Doki Literature Club. A whole bunch of these games that are like, where the game's like, hey, how you doing there? And you're like, oh, it's scary. So it's like I've done a lot of it now. It's still funny. It doesn't quite hit the way it does. But I had a lot of fun with it. It's very quick as well. If you want something quick to play, you can get through it in like 4 or 5 hours. But yeah, I think it was more of a nostalgia hit for me, because as I was playing it, I was remembering all the stuff from ages ago.
Yeah.
Because it feels very Valve. That makes sense, even though it's not like
I agree.
Yeah, because it's not a Valve game, but it's like just playing it makes me think of like Left 4 Dead and Half-Life 2 and
it kind of felt like a prototype for Portal, right? But just with all
Almost,
the portals taken out.
Yeah.
Like, it's very self-aware in that same way. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some clips of this, and it definitely feels Valve-y for sure. Like, even including like Steam reviews, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of like, again, meta stuff with Steam reviews, and I think Superhot had something similar where everyone always said the same thing about Superhot. It was like a line from the game that permeated outside of the game. There's a few bits like that with this, and there's a few meta bits in this game where it directly starts talking about Steam reviews of the original game, which is kind of funny. There's lots of like little bits like that. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with this. I don't have much else to add, really. I just had a really fun time playing this game.
It's worth checking out then, even if you've played
Stanley, if
Stanley 1.
I would say if you've already played Stanley 1, you know what you're getting into. It's more of the same, right?
Yeah, you'll know if you want this.
You will know if you want it. Same way, like when it came out, for me, it was like, it was no-brainer. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm playing this today. I think if you've never played Stanley Parable full stop, I think you kind of owe it to yourself at some point just to check it out, as long as it's not too expensive.
Was it cheap or?
So the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe is £20, which is quite steep. But I got
nowadays.
I got 33% off because I had the original. So I paid like £13 or something.
I'll wait till it's on Game Pass.
If it does come on Game Pass, that'd be great. For me, this is like, in terms of walking simulators, this is pinnacle. The writing is so funny. The stuff it does is so out there. There's stuff in this that it isn't in any other game. I don't want to talk too much specifics, but it's just because the game is, if you give up the trick, if I tell you what happens, like, that is the game.
Yeah.
So hopefully this
is funny, isn't it? It's like, I think it's funny how it's like a weird walking simulators have these like this weird negative connotation whenever you talk about a walking simulator, but this is like, it is, but also it's used in a way that only could be done in a video game sort of thing. So it's not like a visual novel or something. Like,
the whole game is very well written and witty commentary about the choices you are actively making in the story.
Yeah.
And it's a game in that sense because you are always deciding what to do next. Whether you take a left turn or a right turn, or this, you can no clip out of certain areas, and that's an ending. It's like just stuff like that, and I think there's like a broom closet where the narrator says like, "Oh, Stanley walked past it because there was nothing of value inside," and if you just stand in it, he's like, "Oh, Stanley checked out the broom closet just to make sure there was nothing inside." But if you stay inside it, he gets more and more aggravated about the fact there's nothing in this broom closet. Why are you standing in this pointless closet? It's little things like that. There's tons of that sprinkled throughout, which is really fun. But yeah, I'll move on from that because I've got nothing else to really add. Unless you guys got any thing about Stanley Parable that you know or want to talk about.
No, it's been a long time since I played that game. I did like it. It's
Yeah, well, that's what I played this week. Again, that was almost like a blessing because I hadn't really played anything else this week. I was going to talk about the Batman movie for 15 minutes, but
we could chat about the Batman movie. What do you think of it?
I loved it. It's a good movie. I think
it's a good movie.
Robert Pattinson is far better Batman than I thought he would be.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Dark and broody Batman.
Like Twilight ruined Robin Pattinson.
No, that's a meme.
I don't know.
I know what Steve means. Like, he did Twilight and then he just disappeared for like 10 years.
You just don't take him as serious because he's like, oh, that's the Twilight dude who everyone hates Twilight.
He's a really good actor.
Yeah, that went for me as soon as I watched The Lighthouse. You've seen that movie?
Yeah.
That movie is fucking crazy. It's Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe going insane in a lighthouse recorded in black and white 4x3.
It's very good.
It's a very good movie.
I want to watch. I need to watch Tenet as well. I'm also really worried I'm too stupid to watch Tenet.
You're not too stupid to watch Tenet. Tenet is too complicated for its own good. Not too complicated. That's not what I mean. It's like it's just like a kind of dumb idea taken to 11.
Yeah,
where it's like, oh, you've overthought this. I enjoyed it, but then it's kind of just like, you probably shouldn't have taken this idea in the first place, really.
this should have been shot down in a boardroom somewhere, yeah.
You should have gone, what if time goes backwards? And they should have gone, what if you shut the fuck up?
We've been watching, I don't know if we want to go on a TV rant, but me and Aaron have been watching Russian Doll. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's,
I've never heard of it.
I don't remember her name. She's an actress. She was in Orange is the New Black. She's got very shocking orange hair, very curly.
You talk about someone, Leon? Natasha Leon.
Natasha, is that her name? Yeah, that's her name. Yep, that's her. But she's fantastic, and she is this Russian Doll is a Groundhog Day-esque, time travel caper. Except it gets like, it starts to get into the like figuring out the rules of it and sort of and stuff like that, and like it gives it almost. I feel like a lot of those stories treat the fact that you're just reliving the same day over and over again, like they're very like lighthearted takes on it.
Yeah,
but when you think about it, it's kind of horrifying.
It's horrific.
Like she's like she doesn't know what's happening, why it's happening to her. She doesn't know why it's happening. She doesn't understand the rules, like, or anything. And it's just like a person trying to deal with that, and all these other characters and how they interact with her on this this
Season
weird
2
loop.
came out recently, right?
Yeah, it did. I don't even know how you would do that with a time loop show, but
I think I've seen stuff that is different, but yeah.
Yeah. But that is a really fun show to watch.
I might have to watch that.
And kind of terrifying as well.
There's so much stuff out on Netflix at the minute. It's you've got.
It's a shame they're dying.
Yeah.
I'm happy to keep watching as long as there's stuff coming out. You've got so you're talking about this. You've got Better Call Saul has just started up again. Its final season. We haven't started that yet, but that's just starting. We were scrolling Netflix yesterday, and Ozark has just had the last part of its final season dropped.
That's another one that's just completely.
Yes,
I have so many of those long shows where people are like, "Oh, that you got last season, you got to get in," and I'm like, "Man, I missed that completely. I got like 400 hours to catch up on this."
Ozark is great. What else was there? We just started Love, Death and Robots.
Oh, that's good. Really good first season.
Yeah, we were trying to. So this is really weird, right? We were trying to work out like the episode order, because we were looking at the episode list for Love, Death and Robots, and they were all like in the wrong order compared to what like Wikipedia was saying is the actual list. And apparently Netflix recommends the first episode of Love, Death and Robots based on your viewing habits. It will recommend you an episode it thinks is best suited.
What?
Because each episode's different, right?
Yeah. It almost doesn't matter what order you watch.
It will show you it shows you a viewing order based on what you think is best suited to what you've watched. I thought that was crazy. I didn't like that at all. I was like, fuck that.
I guess that's kind of in keeping with the theme. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we started that. That was really cool. Lots of TV out at the minute. Not enough time.
Still watching Moon Knight. It's so good.
Oh,
you should
Moon Knight.
Josh, you fucking spoiled Moon Knight for me this week.
No, I didn't.
Because yes, you
Don't
did.
Spoil it. I want to hear.
No, I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay.
But I'm gonna help you, Steve. Okay, because Josh came in. I was just happily streaming away, my little heart out, and Josh comes in and goes, "Fucking hell, Moon Knight was crazy this week." And I was like, "Oh wow, really? That is good. Like it's crazy." He's like, blew me away. And then later on, I said, we were talking. I can't remember what we were doing. I think we were playing Hunt or something. But I was like, "You told me Moon Knight was going to be crazy, and I think you've bigged it up too much." And you were like, "No, you even doubled down."
I doubled down.
Like, no, it's fucking crazy this week. And then I went and watched it, and me and Aaron sat there, and it ended, and I was like, "That son of a bitch, that wasn't crazy at all." Like it was good.
It's not crazy as in like, oh my god, he gets his head blown up. It's crazy as in like, it's a damn good episode.
You gotta be specific. I can't believe I was the whole time I was like waiting for the big twist, and it never happened. And then the credits rolled, and I was like, "Son of a bitch, he's done me in it."
my definition of crazy. This is in reference to Moon Knight episode 5. I'm not going to spoil it because Steve is here actively listening. It's crazy in that I watched it and I was like, "God damn, this is some damn good story and acting." I'm on board with this.
Say it's good then. You don't come in the chat and say it was a good episode. God damn it.
It wasn't a good episode. It was crazy.
It wasn't crazy.
Josh, can you do me a favor and bring up the Moon Knight logo? Because people have told me that the Moon Knight, it looks like googly eyes. Yeah, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. There, that one.
Oh no, you're right.
It's like googly eyes.
Oh, that's me after a couple of drinks. Yeah.
There you go. Just wanted to bring that up because people said that. I was like, oh yeah, it does. It does. Now it's ruined for me.
Yeah, crazy episode. Everyone should watch Moon Knight. Don't listen to Will. Right, let's get on to some news.
It's a good episode. Good, solid episode of TV I watched.
They've got so much to wrap up in 50 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do. We'll talk about it next week, I guess, because it'll be finished. Right, so first news story of the week. Welcome to the news. We have Bethesda adds a whole bunch of free games to Steam. So,
nice.
Has anyone heard about this? Have you guys heard about any of these games?
No.
Not only have I heard about these, I've played one of these a lot.
Yes, I heard about this.
Wolfenstein Enemy Territory's back, baby, and it works barely.
What is this game?
It's so Wolfenstein is like the classic, shooter. You shoot Hitler. It's a FPS. It's kind of like was kind of like Doom, but it's had so many different editions over the years. Most recently, the Machine Games did their version of Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Which is very well received, apart from that last co-op one, which nobody liked, apart from a couple of friends of ours, which we talked about.
Youngblood.
Youngblood, yeah. But Enemy Territory was like a multiplayer only. I can't even remember how it came about. I was too young at the time, but I played the crap out of this. It was like class-based. You had objectives in the map. Every map was like a mini campaign where you had to do mini objectives and capture bases and stuff like that. It was fantastic. It was kind of like World War II. No, that's stupid. I was gonna say it's like World War II Overwatch, but that's like such a reduction. That's like that's all over the place.
That sounds like a clickbait article.
It does, yeah.
Wolfenstein Enemy Territory is the Overwatch of World War II.
Yeah. It's a podcast title.
Yeah.
So yeah, for whatever reason, it just popped up new and trending, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory.
Yeah.
And I was like, And then I just clicked install. It's like a 30-second install. And then I booted it up and I clicked on the server browser, and sure enough, there were still servers running. And then I clicked them, and I was in playing Wolfenstein Enemy Territory like I was 12 again.
Yeah.
And I was sleeping over at my friend's house, and we were all playing Wolfenstein on his PC.
I mean, look, you can play it instantly. I mean, look at it. It's like negative 20 megabytes download.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's insane.
Why have they put it on Steam?
So I assume this kind of ties into the other news story, which is basically they're phasing out the Bethesda Launcher. Yeah. This is your like PSA, because they're not doing this forever. But if you have any games on a Bethesda account, you can now send them to Steam.
I might have Fallout actually.
I did this right before we right before we started recording. I've just transferred my Doom Eternal from Bethesda Launcher to Steam.
So, quick question: I've got Skyrim and I have it on Steam. Do I need to do anything then?
You'll be fine. Do you have a?
You need to put it back into the Bethesda launcher and then migrate it back out again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Why is it like Microsoft?
Yes.
Right. So why are we putting things on Steam?
I think for the longest time, Microsoft and Bethesda kind of accepted that. Yeah, they have rival marketplaces, but a shitload of people buy stuff on Steam. That's just they just over time they've started putting everything on Steam.
It also could just be a poor timing thing where like they plan to get rid of this launcher, then they get bought but there's not enough time to like put all this infrastructure in to get fucking Wolfenstein enemy territory onto Game Pass or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But I think it's also one of those things where, like you say, if they had it planned anyway, like if they had released the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, which was one of the games that they gave away for free, is there a big market for that?
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's a good move, giving some older games away for free.
Yeah, it's like goodwill,
Permanently.
right?
Yeah.
It's just, we're doing this. Era. So the games, I didn't actually say what games they're doing. So you got the Elder Scrolls Arena. You have the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. The Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard. The Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire. And Wolfenstein Enemy Territory.
Not gonna
most
lie,
of
never heard
these,
any of these.
yeah, most of these are the old. They're the Elder Scrolls, Skyrim and this that. These are the first ones. These are where it all began, baby. The OG.
Should we all pick one and try and play through it by next week?
I'm not doing that.
Well, I'm just surprised they didn't name it Elder Scrolls Skyrim Origins or something.
Yeah, I'll play.
So they cover another version of Skyrim.
I'll play Skyrim again. Why not? I'll play.
Some of these aren't free. Some of these aren't free. Battlespire is not free.
I thought
that's the one I was going to pick. By the way, if we divvied these up,
so,
I like the sound of a Battlespire.
So that's me not reading properly because it says Bethesda adds free classic Elder Scrolls games to Steam. I've clearly been lied to. Yeah, you're right. Wow.
None of these are free.
Some of them are. Elder Scrolls Arena is free, and Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall is free. But Redguard and Battlespire seem to be £4.89. So 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 are for free.
Oh, I thought that was your rating for a second.
Yeah. These games I haven't played, 3 out of 5.
I had to buy some of them, yeah.
And the best one is the Elder Scrolls Arena and the Elder Scrolls Daggerfall are free to play, but Wolfenstein Enemy Territory just free.
That horse armor ain't cheap, boy. Oh my god, these screenshots are like 240p, but also super blurry.
Oh yeah, these games are old.
These are old.
Capital O, old.
So yeah, that was Bethesda news for the week. So yeah, and then I already mentioned it, but to coincide with that, this Bethesda launch migration is not forever. So if you do have Bethesda Launcher games, transfer them over sooner rather than later.
Right now.
Yeah, unless it's Fallout 76. Don't worry about that. That's not a very good game. Leave that to just get erased. That's fine.
Let that one die.
Yeah. Let that one crumble away like it's been Thanos snapped.
Learn a lesson.
Yeah. You bought it full price, 50 quid on Bethesda Launcher, and you deserve to let it die.
No, I heard it's good now. They pulled a No Man's Sky.
No, I don't believe it. No, I was talking about that with Matt, our friend, right before we went live. Yeah, if you go on Fallout 76 on Steam, it's actually mostly positive reviews now, like ratings. It's doing okay. It's doing fine. Terrible battle royale aside.
Yeah, it's a shame how a bad launch can cripple a game's reputation for the longest time. Like, some games have pulled it through, like Sea of Thieves had a bad launch, but now they've pulled it through. But it's still, that launch is there, tainted forever. Like, I wish more game companies would put more effort and just make sure that their game launched in a acceptable state,
Or
Miyamoto, right? What was it?
Bad game, bad. Good game, good. Miyamoto-san.
Yeah, I think that was that. I think that's what he said.
76 had a little bit more than just a bad launch.
It barely launched.
Like the worst launch, didn't it? Like
the funniest thing about Fallout 76's launch being so bad is it had an open beta, I think like a week and a half or 2 weeks before it launched, and it was fucking awful. And it's just like, well,
a beta you had to pay to get into, because I remember.
No, I played something that was free. I played a beta about 2 to 3 weeks prior to launch. And I didn't buy a thing, and it was awful.
Is it really? I thought you had to. So, I'm sure.
I'm sure
all our friends pre-ordered.
Are you calling me a Fallout 76 owner?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it's free. No, it's free now. Everyone is.
It's not free. It's
Is
only
it not?
it's on Game Pass.
Oh, it's on Game. Oh, I.
Basically free.
so it's free.
But yeah, I kind of, when it launched and it was really bad, I couldn't really feel sorry for anyone. It's like, well, you knew it was going to be bad. Why did you buy it?
That's the thing. The hype for games is so unrealistic these days that even when there are signs that games are going to be bad, people are like, no, I've been hyped about it. It can't be bad.
It cannot be bad.
Yeah, and then they get it, and then they're like, "Oh my god, it's bad! How dare you? You
Yeah.
lied to us!" And it's like, there were signs on the wall, dude. Come on.
The Battlefield 2042 alpha 2 weeks before the game comes out is really bad. Yeah, but it's an alpha.
They'll patch it, don't worry.
They'll patch it. They'll just crunch for a couple of weeks and fix the entire game. Right.
Overwatch 2 will be good, I promise.
No,
I can't believe
Steve.
we managed to dunk on Battlefield again.
A Battlefield will always get dunked on. There was another story that was Battlefield 2042 is coming to EA Play on the Game Pass soon.
Oh, sweet. Oh, I'll play that.
I'll play that. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll install what is probably like 200 gigabytes and then play it for it for 5 minutes.
That's a good point, yeah.
Everyone looks at that and goes, "Oh yeah, you know what? I'll give that a go. See what that's like." And then when it comes around, they'll be like, maybe not.
Yeah, nah.
I will say, watching Will stream Battlefield, there were a couple of like choice moments in that, like the wah
Belly
and the dog.
laughed a lot playing that, but I don't think it was necessarily because I was like having fun with the game. I was more laughing like at the game. I wasn't laughing
went to
with
the
the
moon.
game. I went to the moon. Yeah. Zip lined up the rocket. That was pretty good.
There were some good moments in that.
I watched that video back a couple weeks ago, which is incredibly vain of me. But the joke that makes me laugh every time is there's one voice line where your guy's just running around and it started raining, and he said something. He said something like, "Oh shit, Mother Nature's kicking off," or something like that, just loudly to nobody, and that just absolutely cracks me up.
You can't talk about that Battlefield game without what was the TV advert they did about like the world was collapsing and this, that, and they were like, "This is the best thing ever," or something. All these like AI characters. What was the line? What was the line?
No, I know what you're talking about.
It was like a really weird TV advert. Hang on. Battlefield 2042 advert.
I don't watch TV adverts.
Oh, it's the trailer. You know what I mean? Controversy. Oh, I can't. I'm not gonna keep digging into this now, but it had like a really weird.
Yeah, it was, but it was just like in this. The game is like kind of pre-apocalypse, right? Where it's like there's no resources, everyone's fighting over scraps of land because the seas have risen, and it's like very real. And then the tagline was just like, "This is the best time of my life.
This is the time of my life." It's like, dude, you're fighting in a war for the planet. Right,
but it's not political.
It's not. No, not at all. No, you have to put that at the end. Next story. This one I'm very excited for.
Yes.
Following delays, Final Fantasy 16 is near the end of development, producer says. This kind of didn't come out of nowhere, but to hear that it's getting close, it's just so exciting. I honestly think this will come out this year, I think.
Hopefully. Although...
this year?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think Christmas period of this year, you'll be seeing this game.
If it comes out this year,
I'm
it's going to
scoffing.
be like November, December.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I think they might delay it is because they're like, do we want to release in the same year as Elden Ring?
No,
they've already missed. Like,
I guess,
only games that are like within like what, a month, space of a month around Elden Ring that get affected. Realistically,
yeah.
What's good? Oh, I'm so excited for this because it's Final Fantasy 14's producer. I'm like I own Final Fantasy 15 on PC. I have not touched it really. I should get to playing it at some point, but I'm like, it's kind of like not for me. But Final Fantasy 16, even though I'm like, I'd prefer like a big cast of characters and they've only shown off like one or two for this one so far. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, I am in. I am in. Just please release on PC at the same time as PlayStation. Please, I beg of you.
Everything about this is ringing my bells. It looks. I'm so excited. It's the writer and producer of Final Fantasy XIV, one of my favorite Final Fantasy stories. It's looking more action-based, action up. I'm down for that. I love that stuff. It's
medieval style
it's
as
ye
well.
old medieval. It's not future robot shit. It's like, oh, the art here. Guy looks fucking awesome. I'm so excited.
I always love the Final Fantasy concept art.
Oh, the concept art is amazing. Yeah. I think I'm kind of expecting a trailer soonish. I reckon next month.
Yeah.
Like
well,
June.
they've got the
June,
game.
July.
No, E3 is cancelled, but they've got the
Microsoft
Summer Game
one.
Awards.
You got Summer Game Awards, and Microsoft are doing a show on the same day they would normally do E3.
Yeah, but I mean, Sony's Sony's not gonna put Final Fantasy 16 on the Microsoft trailer, are they?
Sony don't own Final Fantasy, do they?
Yeah, but they pretty buddy with them, and I think it's on PlayStation 4 or 5, no, PlayStation 5 exclusive on console.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I
PC.
forgot. Yeah, it actually says that in that trailer, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm expecting. This is my far out prediction. The next sort of 5-6 weeks around E3-ish time, I think we'll get a trailer announcing like a late November release date. I can honestly see this coming out this year, I think.
Hopefully.
I also we've had one trailer of this, right?
Yeah, just one.
It's kind of cool not knowing anything about this right now.
True.
Yeah,
because it's like, the news story is like, oh, it's nearly finished, and I'm just sitting there like, what is it? Tell me more.
And I will say, because I've had a lot of people say that when we've talked about Final Fantasy in the past on the podcast, they're like, they've not played a Final Fantasy game, they're not interested. I would say this one is not going to be like the others where it's like turn-based combat and stuff. It will be like more like a Final Fantasy 15 7 remake or this new style where it's a bit more actiony. So if you've not played a Final Fantasy game, 7 remake or this one, I'd probably say would be a good starting point.
Mainline Final Fantasy hasn't been turn-based since 10.
Yeah, but they still like kind of cling to that kind of like you've got a menu, and it feels kind of turn-based-ish.
I get what you mean, but they've been slowly moving away from that game by game. Like 12 was some weird if-else ATB if statement programming system.
I love that game.
Yeah, I love that game as well.
I like it for the fact that you can kind of like just set up your characters and then just walk into enemies and now kind of do all the fighting. You don't need to press any buttons.
It's because you've programmed victory.
You program victory, and then all you have to do is control movement.
Yeah,
so you get control positioning, and all your characters are like, "Oh, that guy's weak to fire. Let's use fire."
Yeah, the final versions of Final Fantasy 12 had like speed up mechanic where you could just increase the game speed by like times 10 because you've programmed how to win every fight. You just run around and grind XP.
Every time they like port it to PC, they always add that. Like 7 has that, 8 has that, 9. They always like add like features to make it easier. They add auto cheats as well. But... Yeah,
stupidly excited for this. Cannot wait for this.
I like how we just talked about games that we get overhyped and then we're just like, oh, we're so overhyped for this.
No,
it's got to be good. It's got to be, right?
Oh no, this is what makes me come alive.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they haven't given us anything for this game, right?
Teasing.
Like, again, we've had that one trailer, and that is it. And that was literally a trailer.
It was the announcement trailer, and that's all they've done.
So I can't help it, man.
Yeah.
It's also nice with this one that they're not like, well, there's going to be an anime, there's going to be a movie, there's going to be a comic. It's like, no, just at the moment it's just a game.
Yeah. I watched the first anime episode of Final Fantasy 15 that came out, and I think it was 20 minutes long, or maybe it was 10 minutes long. Either way, 80% of it was badly animated characters talking in a cafe. And I was like, this is shit.
And because it was so much of the story was external, didn't they they cancelled some of the story? So now Final Fantasy 15 technically does not have a finished story because they've cancelled a bunch of.
Yeah.
I remember, in the first couple of hours of Final Fantasy 15, your home city just gets destroyed.
Mhm.
And it's a big elaborate CG cutscene. You and your crew are away when it happens. There's a big cutscene, and you have to watch the movie to find out what happened in that cutscene. And the game just skims over it. City's blown up. It's oops. Go watch the movie.
Wasn't Aaron Paul? Wasn't he in that?
He was Jesse from Breaking Bad.
I'm being serious. Who was it? Was it him or was it
Mr. White? What am I doing here?
Was it fucking Steve's boy? Was it Sean Ashmore again?
I have no clue.
I don't remember.
Let me I'll look it up.
Yeah, science. But yeah,
Dick. It was Aaron Paul. Fuck you. It was Aaron Paul.
Yeah, magnets.
And Lena Headey was in that, and Sean Bean was in that.
Wow, all these
I watched that movie. I couldn't tell you a fucking thing that happened.
all these high-profile actors and actresses in a movie that was watched by 9 people. Right, moving on. Last couple. Modern Warfare 2 has a new logo.
Oh my god!
This is literally my excuse to just talk about Modern Warfare. Basically, I'm really sorry. This is all I need
This
to.
is COD, right?
This is Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So Modern Warfare 2 is going to be this year's Call of Duty. The Modern Warfare 1 soft reboot was incredible, and I'll stand by that.
Good.
I loved it. I think when Modern Warfare came out, I hadn't played Call of Duty in maybe 4 or 5 iterations. I hadn't touched it in ages, and this was it was great. So I'm fully on board for this. I think everyone here, apart from Steve, played it, right?
I played all the way through it. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I've played a couple CODs. Cannot tell you which ones they were.
Well, Modern Warfare was, for me at least, it's very nostalgic. I was in secondary school.
Yeah.
When all me and my friends were playing. Yeah, playing COD 4. And there was when they bring back all the characters and all that stuff in this one, I was all over it. And I got really into the multiplayer of the reboot as well. It was a bit odd. I hadn't played Call of Duty multiplayer in ages.
Yeah.
This was the one that made me realize that it's a young man's game these days. I realized playing through, I really liked Modern Warfare, but then we did a couple multiplayer sessions and I was like, oh no. I'm just too old for this.
You've got one of 2 options now. You can try and keep up, or you can let your brain get old and waste away.
Yeah. I used to be the guy that could use the intervention with Steady Aim Pro, run around.
Yeah. Dropping nukes left and right like it was nothing.
Now I think I'll be the guy with the scar and the heartbeat sensor sat in a corner.
I'm very excited for this. I'm gonna be. Well, the campaign for the Modern Warfare reboot, albeit small, was also amazing. It had some really good bits.
It was good fun. It was a good ride.
There's
nice to see London represented, even if it did get blown up immediately.
As is tradition with every location in Call of Duty.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
There's a part in the Modern Warfare campaign where I think it is the London bit. You breach a house or a flat.
Yeah.
In night vision.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
And that was the first time in a while where, as I was playing it, I was like, Jesus Christ, this looks so good.
Yeah. It's the same as what you do, the fake assault on Osama bin Laden compound, right, later on in the game. And yeah, that was the same thing where I was playing through it. And I think Erin was watching me, she was like, this could just be war footage. You could put this on a news reel, with a news ticker at the bottom, and I would believe you that this was real.
Yeah, it's when you're doing the London raid, and it's all night vision, and then they turn on the little lasers on their guns, and there's smoke and particles and blah, blah. I was like, this is this is ridiculous. This looks so good. Because there was, I think there was something similar with the first Modern Warfare, where again this was so many years ago. But there's a part where it's dark and everyone turns on their laser sights on their guns. And back on like Xbox 360 and PS3, it's like, oh my god, these graphics with the lasers are insane. It was almost like that again. But with modern times.
I played through Modern Warfare 4 recently, and it's still a very fun campaign just to play through. It's like a fun story. Well, maybe fun is the wrong word.
This is
but
great.
Like it's like a really good action thriller kind of setup, you know.
Well, they last like 3 hours, which is now
exactly you can get done in an afternoon. It's great.
It used to be like 3 hours long. Oh, they're just they're not like movies because they're too long, but movies are now 3 hours long. So.
I
watched the Batman in 2 sittings. That was 3 hours long. I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to bed. I'll finish it in the morning.
I can't watch movies now in one sitting. I have to be like, I'm going to watch part of it. Then next couple days later, I watch it later. I can't. I've got TikTok brain.
Laura will ask me when we go to the cinema how long the movie is, because if it's over about 2 hours and 15 minutes, she's not interested. Too long.
Martin Scorsese's rolling over in his grave. Yeah, I know he's not dead, but metaphorically
rolling around his bed, angry.
Yeah, rolling around his
bed. So that's that one there. Last little news story. This is the last one of the evening. The quick bit on Valheim, really. Valheim has sold over 10 million copies. So it's still...
Where's that patch? Where's that content update?
Well, I was going to say, I just assume when there is a new...
I want to rush you, but come on.
We need to get everyone together and play this, because I missed the initial wave with this game. Kind of a shame.
Did you?
I did, yeah. I watched a lot of you play, but I wasn't there playing. So.
I played this, and I was like, not for me at launch. I played it, and I was like trying to build a little hut, and there were goblins attacking every 2 seconds, and I just like, I'm dying constantly. Just let me build my little hut in peace.
I'll defend you, Steve.
Oh, thank you.
I'll be the goblin that defends you, but then turns around and attacks you anyway.
Okay,
yeah, I guess I could do more Valheim. I guess I could do more Valheim. Yeah, it's been a while.
Well, have they patched it though? Wouldn't you want to wait till they've patched it?
I think there's one new boss since you all
at
played.
This point, I just want to play it a bit more. If I wait for a patch, Steve, I might never play it again.
If you have you ever been on the Valheim subreddit? Because there's people that
God no.
If you, I love those sorts of subreddits for games like this where you organize it by the highest voted stuff, and it's always like crazy architecture that people have made.
The top post at the moment is a 1-to-1 recreation of the Lonely Mountains from Lord of the
Rings.
Exactly.
So, yeah. There you go. It's the one thing that it's almost like it's a good thing and a bad thing, because I'll be playing something like Satisfactory, right, or Factorio, and I'll be having like a blast. I'll be loving it, and I'll go on the subreddit and organize by the best stuff and see such elaborate, crazy stuff that I'll be like, I can't make that. I'm stopping now. Yeah. I give up. It's so stupid because I do it every time.
I always want to wait for like a game that marries the two things, where you can make big, elaborate, but also functional structures. Because whenever we play, Aaron builds a really nice house, and it's like everything is functional, right? And then I go on, and it's like someone's built, here's like a giant port town, and I'm like, but all your everything is all over. Imagine having to walk from your forge to your equipment chest. You cretin!
You absolute cretin!
I mean, there's a big market for this. Like, I've seen content creators who are like, I'm going to build this in Minecraft, but they have like their fans have done them plans to do it, to make it like these fancy, elaborate towers and stuff. So there's like a big like market for, like elaborate building and all these types of games. People love it.
Well, yeah, it's just like a lot of these systems for a lot of people are just essentially a blank canvas. And it's like, Valheim is a game where you go around killing Norse gods and this, that, and the other, but essentially you can build whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
So I will say, when I played Valheim, I struggled a little bit with the building. I kept trying to make like bigger houses and stuff, and then the roof would keep falling down, and I googled it, and
yeah, they had a whole support
my
system.
my shit wasn't structurally sound, and I was like,
yeah.
whatever, mate.
damn, you
I know what I'm
architect,
doing.
yeah.
Too many Minecraft dirt huts from you, mate. You gotta get.
What do you mean I can't make a massive 50-meter roof with no supports? Yeah, we should all play Valheim again. I'd be well up for that. Say it again. I never played it the first time. That's all the news for the week, guys.
We made it.
We've done it. We survived another week.
Releases quickly.
Yeah, what's coming out, Steve?
Okay, well, there are 2 games of note for this time. On May the 3rd, we have Oaken, which we're looking through the releases. I looked at it, and the artwork for it looked amazing.
How do you spell it?
And it is
Oaken.
Yeah. And the little blurb for it says, Oaken is a tactical turn-based roguelike with deck management and 3D figurines. Explore the world of the Great Oak, gather allies and enhancements, learn to use the positioning and rotation for your advantage, choose how to upgrade your cards, all in order to restore the Oak Song. And I just basically saw this while looking for releases. I was like, this actually looks kind of cool.
This looks like
there's a demo for it.
Looks like Ori and the Blind Forest, like aesthetic.
Style of art style, yeah.
It's that art style, but the gameplay is nothing.
Oh yeah. No, the game's nothing like it, but just looking at there's this screenshot here. Anyone watching, characters might as well be like an enemy from Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yeah. But I've downloaded the demo for it, and I'm like, oh, this looks maybe interesting. I'll give it a little shot. So that's coming out on the 3rd, and then on the 5th, I'm not sure it will be good, but it's Warhammer Chaos Gate Demon Hunters or Daemon Hunters. I don't know. Usually Warhammer games are like hit or miss, so I don't know if this is going to be what this is. It's let me read it out.
I don't know about this.
XCOM. It's an XCOM like.
Yeah, lead humanity's greatest weapons, the Grey Knights, in this fast-paced, turn-based tactical RPG. Root out and purge galaxy-spanning plague in a cinematic, story-driven campaign using the tactics and talents of your own personalized squad of Daemon Hunters. So, might be good.
Also, Andy Serkis is a voice actor for this game.
Oh, really?
Are you good?
Fun fact, yep.
Who dat?
Gollum, the monkey from Planet of the Apes. What else is he?
Basically, a character from any big budget film of the last 10 years.
The main antagonist of Heavenly Sword on PlayStation 3.
Is he really?
Heavenly Sword. And
the Batman. He was Alfred in The Batman.
He was, yeah. Oh, there you go, Andy Serkis. It even kind of looks like him a little bit.
It does. Okay, yeah, I can see it.
I might pick up that Warhammer game.
You're gonna get that.
It looks good. It looks alright. But you just can't tell, can you? With a Warhammer game, you just can't tell.
You can't.
Yeah, the game comes out.
Wait for reviews on that one.
The game comes out. It's terrible. Also, it doesn't open. It's broken.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah,
40k and XCOM at me, and I'm in.
All the Sam's
I've
favourite
requested
words.
a key for it, so.
Oh, so you'll get it definitely then.
I wasn't sold until I saw Andy Serkis, and then I was like, all right, well, maybe I could check it out. I owe it to Andy, don't I? Really?
Is there anything he can't do? He's a voice actor, mocap. Now he's a game developer.
I thought you were gonna say, is there anything he can't do? Voice actor.
Yeah. One day he'll get it. Okay, I think that's everything done. Shall we get socials done and say goodnight?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should.
Okay, thank you for listening, everybody. As always, my name is Joshua, but I'm on BottlerWorks on everything, mainly Twitch and Twitter. Go for it, Will.
Oh shit.
Go for
my
it,
name
Steve.
is Will. I'm Olive Meister on everything. I'm some variation of Olive Meister. You'll find me if you try.
And then Steve.
Hi, I'm Quikwix on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram. Let's say I've been posting a little bit there. Yeah, follow me.
What are you posting on Instagram? Very quickly.
Art I've commissioned.
So you're stealing art then?
No, I commissioned it. I paid for it.
And Sam.
I'm Sam.
All right, cool. Cheers. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.